In this video, I'm going to be going over 9 reasons why the FujiFilm X-H1 just might be the camera for you. All right, let's get into it. Although I picked up the A7 IV last month, I took the FujiFilm X-H1 out for 3 weeks and used it as my main workhorse camera. Now, I'll cut straight to the conclusion of those 3 weeks. The agents I worked with loved the photography the camera produced. I found it was easy to use, and the dials helped me with dialing in my settings and getting in and out of the properties as fast as possible. And I found that the lack of a flip-out screen didn't slow me down, although that was my main argument to upgrade from the A7 III to the A7 IV. The experience was completely different, which brings me to my next statement I'm about to say. The FujiFilm X-H1 is an amazing camera that had a short run in the spotlight. Shortly after its release, the X-T3 was announced, and the X-H1 has forever been in the shadows of the X-T3, X-T4, in addition to the XS10, and now the successor of the X-H1, the X-H2S. However, it is still a contender today, and here are 9 reasons why. Number 1, the sensor. The FujiFilm X-H1 has a 24 megapixel S-Trans CMOS 3 APS-C sensor. The sensor comes with an periodic color filter, which helps minimize false colors in the image. Number 2, the processor. It comes with the X Processor Pro, which helps increase the performance of the X-Trans CMOS sensor, while also supporting boost mode when using the power grip. Boost mode, although something I've yet to fully use, enhances the user experience by unlocking more pro features in the camera, but more on that in another video. Number 3, the autofocus. The X-H1 is equipped with phase detection autofocus, which covers 50% of the frame horizontally and 75% vertically. It has 91 autofocus touch points, which can be expanded up to 325 touch points. It has 3 adjustable settings to help dial in its focusing characteristics based on scene types, which are tracking sensitivity, speed tracking sensitivity, and zone area switching. It has a D-pad nub, which helps with choosing a focus point, and an AF on button to help assist you nail focus majority of the time. Number 4, the body. It has a magnesium alloy body, is lightweight for its size, moisture and dust resistant, and can work comfortably in temperatures as low as -10 degrees Celsius or 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Number 5, the in-body stabilization. The FujiFilm X-H1 is the first X-series camera to receive in-body stabilization, aka IBIS. It comes equipped with 5-axis IBIS and can get up to 5.5 stops of image stabilization when using stabilized lenses. When it comes to photography, the IBIS can help cut down noise and camera shake when shooting in slower shutter speeds. And with video, it helps get stable footage. Here is what it looks like with me holding the camera without IBIS, and here's what it looks like when I turn it on. Number 6, the shutter button. The shutter button comes with a shutter shock absorption mechanism, which is basically a suspension system for the shutter button. It absorbs the shock generated when pressing the shutter button. In addition, the X-H1 does have a feather touch shutter button, which means it doesn't take too much force to activate the shutter button, which is both good and bad because you don't need much force to activate the shutter button, because too much force on any camera causes micro vibrations, which leads to camera shake and blurry images. On the other hand, if you aren't careful when pressing the shutter button with the X-H1, you will take a million photos without even knowing it. Number 7, the viewfinder. The X-H1 has a 33.69 million dot OLED high refresh rate rear viewfinder, which has a switch button to go from viewfinder to back panel or both. I do enjoy using the X-H1's viewfinder, by far the best viewfinder I have used on a camera, even better than the one on the Sony A7 IV. Number 8, the dials and buttons. The X-H1 has the standard Fuji dials, well, 2 of the standard Fuji dials, which allows you to control shutter speed, ISO, and drive mode. Instead of the exposure compensation dial, you have the top LCD screen, which is customizable to show the current settings of the camera. However, on the top left of the camera, next to the on-off switch and the shutter button, there is the exposure compensation button for those who like to manually dial in their exposure compensation. You also have your standard operation dials, one on the front and one on the back, which can be customized as well. To the right of the back operation dial, you have the auto exposure lock or the AEL button and the autofocus on or the AF on button. You also have your Q button for quick menus, which I never use. Below that, you have your main D-pad, which plays as a directional pad when navigating the menus and choosing a focus point. And they also substitute as custom buttons that allows you to customize this camera in a way that works best for you. When using a vertical grip, the setup is the same. D-pad nub, AEL button, AF on button, front and back operation dials, but the grip does not have a monitor for quick view like it does at the top of the camera. But it is an option for creating vertical content if that's something that you're into. And with the grip, you have the normal and boost mode dial. Again, more on boost mode in a later video. You also get 2 extra battery slots, which extends the battery life of the camera. As I mentioned, I haven't really used boost mode and I don't really use the grip, but it is something that you can use if you want to not have to worry as much when using the camera, because the battery life is horrible. But based on my current use with the X-H1, I can get through a full day shoot on 2 batteries without using a grip, and a full day shoot is about 5 photo shoots, which typically averages out at about 1100 to 1300 photos, raw photos. Depending on the size of the shoot, there could be more. Number 9, the film simulations. The X-H1 comes with 16 film simulations, which can be customized if they are not working for you in their standard settings. I will pop all of them up on the screen somewhere right here. From my understanding, you can go into further customization with how you want the final image to look in camera when shooting JPEGs. When it comes to the film simulations, technically, film simulations do not work with RAW. However, you can use them to monitor the image of how you want the image to come out once you start editing the raw photo. But depending on the software you were using, the software may be able to read the film simulation that is attached to the raw file's metadata that you captured and display that in the software. The image will still contain more information than a JPEG, which means when you take that same raw photo with the film simulation attached to it and the JPEG photo with the film simulation attached to it, the raw photo will look off because there's more information attached to the image, as everything with the JPEG is baked in and you get what you see, or you see what you get or get what you see. But with the raw photo, there's more information, so it may look a little off and you may have to tweak it in order to get it where you want it to be. Now, you can choose to shoot specifically raw photos in this camera, or raw and JPEG, or just JPEG. So if you choose to shoot raw and JPEG, you have the best of both worlds. You'll have a file with the simulation baked in, and you'll have a customizable file in case that raw file just isn't working for you, or you're working with a client who wants that fast turnaround. So you have that JPEG that you can send them immediately, but then you have a raw file that you can then tweak and use however you want. What I'm trying to say is you have a lot of options with this camera. So if you shoot raw and JPEG, you have the best of both worlds. But I will be testing this out, so keep a lookout for that. I've not used all of the simulations in this camera just yet. Going through them right now makes me want to actually test them out. So let me know in the comments below if that's something you want to see. And for a bonus, number 10, there is remote shooting in the FujiFilm X-H1. The X-H1 has remote shooting capabilities when using the FujiFilm app, but it takes some finessing, too much time, and way too much patience to get it up and running, in addition to having to continuously reconnect. But it is still an option. I don't use it because it isn't as good as Panasonic's or Canon's. But if you're someone that really needs remote shooting and is looking for a camera system that has a great mobile app user interface, connectivity, and controls, go with the Panasonic. But all of what I just mentioned isn't even why the X-H1 is still a contender. These are just the basic specs of the camera, which determines whether it is a camera you may want to get, which is similar to judging a camera by its cover, because actually handling and using the camera determines whether it is a camera you want to keep. When it comes to customability, image quality, and functionality, the X-H1 takes the cake. You have the options to shoot in RAW and JPEG, and Fuji cameras are known for taking great JPEGs. Also, Fujifilm cameras are known for handling noise very well, so well that it typically looks like natural film grain and not so much noise. Unless you are intentionally pushing the ISO to get a noisy image or just adding a ton of grain when editing. It is an APS-C camera, which means it has a crop sensor and it still handles noise very well when compared to other cameras on the market, including full frame. The main reason why it is still a contender, even though Fuji has released an updated version of X-H1, is that the files are so flexible to the point that a beginner can snap a photo and love it just as much or even more than the photos they take with their phone. The images are pleasing, the colors are vibrant, even in the standard profile. Great for if you are in the beginning stages of manually editing your photos instead of slapping on filters. And even if you do slap on a filter, you won't be disappointed. Just like you won't be disappointed by going down to the description, clicking the Epidemic Sound link, and taking advantage of the 10% discount off your first 12-month subscription and a 30-day free trial. I use Epidemic for all of my sound design on this channel and for clients when I do video work. Epidemic Sound is a great place to find music and sound effects for content creation. Check it out down below and let me know what you think in the comments. So I took the X-H1 out for the past 3 weeks as my main workhorse camera, and I have to say the experience has been better than I expected. The X-H1 is an all-around camera that can't be beat, especially when it comes to price and various other reasons I talked about in this video right here. Thanks for joining. Stay awesome.